Hey folks, my name's Olivia Barbalescu and welcome to Feral Woman. This is the video essay format of a Substack that I write. If you prefer to read, please check the link in the description. The title of this piece is, Are You Setting a Boundary or Avoiding Accountability for Being a Shitty Friend? I've spent a lot of time being a good friend to people who didn't reciprocate because I didn't respect myself enough to know what I needed. I recently reached out to a close friend, Jay, and told her I was having a hard time. I asked if we could see each other more, even if that meant just folding myself into her routine. Grocery runs, laundry, workouts, anything. I just needed to be around people. I was shocked when my vulnerable appeal was met with a probably AI-generated, "Hey." Her message featured all the well-known classics, from "I don't have the capacity" to claiming I'd crossed a boundary. You see, she was really busy enjoying newlywed life. Seeing me monthly was already a lot for her, but she wanted me to know that she still cared about our friendship. She managed to use the right combination of sweet-sounding therapy speak that amounted to a door quietly closing in my face, while her locking it from the inside and yelling, "See you soon." Jay's rejection especially stung because I was not only met with a no, but also an accusation. It's one thing to avoid accountability for being a good friend, but was I not even worth original, human-generated thought? I find myself thinking about Orwell's Politics in the English Language. Stick with me, I know this is a bit off base. He talks about how people overuse turns of speech and metaphors to avoid any precision in what they aim to communicate. Prose consists less and less of words chosen for the sake of their meaning, and more of phrases tacked together like the sections of a prefabricated henhouse. Quote from Politics in the English Language by Orwell. I do believe this is a big issue with ChatGPT and AI auto-finishing sentences. If AI writes my breakup text, how can I be sure I even know what our breakup was about? To the untrained eye, Jay's script reads nicely but avoids the reality, that she just doesn't want to be there for me. What confused me was being told that my asking to spend time together was a boundary issue. I wasn't asking for constant attention. I was asking to do grocery runs together and exist alongside someone I loved during a hard month. I understand needing to protect your time, but if you constantly choose yourself over your friends in the name of self-care, you're selfish. I felt confused because surely my friend of 15 plus years would care that I was struggling, especially after I'd spent thousands of dollars flying across the world to celebrate her destination wedding. Now she couldn't let me tag along while she did her meal prep? It's not like I was asking her to be my caretaker, I just wanted her to be a bigger part of my life. I understand how people are busy. I've worked 80-hour-a-week jobs that left me so exhausted that by the time I'd get home, all I could do was collapse onto the couch. This couch. But when my friends needed me, I was there, at least for a phone call. And I enjoyed doing it too. If you prioritize your 15-step skincare routine over supporting your friend, I do have to wonder how much you really care about our friendship at all. In movies and TV, I see tons of examples of close adult friendships. In Friends, it's as if everyone lives at Monica's apartment, and in Seinfeld, we see characters constantly eating, commuting, and helping one another. Hell, Kramer essentially lives at Jerry's. Were these depictions of friendship just as unrealistic as the fact Carrie could afford a one-bedroom apartment on the Upper East Side by writing one column a week? I want to have slumber parties, do that return at Bloomingdale's, and help pack up Amazon returns with my friends because being together is the fun part, not the activity. I also want to escape the infinite friendship catch-up loop. I live in the same city as a bunch of my friends, yet our relationships feel long distance. I witness their lives on social media, and then we meet up in person monthly if we're lucky to spend $60 on mediocre food and get the not safe for social media spark notes of what's been going on. Being in a long-distance relationship with my friends puts the small amount of time we do have together on a pedestal. If I only see you for 3 hours a month, I feel a pressure to entertain you just so I can make the list for next month's hang. But this is not the type of friendship I want. I want to dilly-dally slowly over time. Enjoy coffee when there isn't much to say, just each other's company to enjoy, or hang out at a friend's apartment when she's sick or hurt. Make time even when we're both busy. Caring about a friendship goes beyond just saying it. It's about showing up. It's a choice. Somehow, social media has turned into a virtue signaling ground for women to screech, "If he wanted to, he would," dating icks, and reasons to dump that guy. But the same can go for friendship. If your friend wanted to show up for you, she would. It hurts to find out I value my friendship with Jay more than she does. It never feels good to be rejected, even when it's by a friend and not a romantic interest. It's scary to be vulnerable about my needs because I can no longer turn a blind eye to the lopsidedness of our relationship. After all, You begin to understand that admitting what you need is never a guarantee of receiving it. That's a quote from Gore, who's an incredible Substack writer. Admitting my needs is one thing, and standing my ground is another. It doesn't mean we need to stop being friends, but I do believe I need to recalibrate. I've accidentally mistaken the duration of our friendship for depth. While it's a painful realization to make, ultimately, it is good to know who is around for a good time and who is around for you. Friendship means different things to different people. But this experience makes me worry that many of the folks I see solely prioritize relationships with their partners, and unless I pair up, I'll be nobody's priority. It's one thing to be romantically lonely, it's another to live a life devoid of depth and connection. I don't want to date out of fear of being alone, and I don't want to have shallow friendships. If my friend texted me, "I'm not okay," I would answer at the latest within 3 hours. If it takes you 36 plus hours to check in on me when I'm in a rough place, that's a choice. In the Liz Moody podcast, the hosts discuss a scene in Sex and the City where Carrie is on her way to a date when Charlotte calls with an emergency. Carrie still ends up going to her date, but on the way there, picks up Charlotte and the 2 other girls of the Sex and the City squad for a quick taxi debrief before they go each on their own merry ways. I show up, communicate, and am present. It truly gives me joy to help out a friend. To show up, have them sleep over at my house if they're feeling lonely, call to check in when they've lost their job, send flowers. And that's what I expect in a friendship as well. I was a bit hesitant to reach out for help to begin with. A few years ago, I went through a particularly heinous breakup and health crisis, and found out that many of the friends I had accrued over time were only good time pals. These folks liked that I planned our social calendars, gave them access to job opportunities and friends, and always provided a free charcuterie board, but couldn't be bothered to help me get my medication or stay over at my house when I was afraid to be alone. Embarrassed by the rejection, I chose to blame the problem on myself and how I was too much, as opposed to realizing the painful truth that took years to see. I didn't have good friends. I've spent a lot of time being a good friend to people who didn't reciprocate because I didn't respect myself enough to know what I needed. I've learned since that being your own friend doesn't mean you stop needing people, it just means you stop abandoning yourself to keep them. While I could choose to hyperfixate on the way that a particular friend is lacking, I've started to focus on the friends that have been there. When I mentioned I had been feeling lonely, my friend S immediately FaceTimed me, told me to start coming to Run Club, and made sure I did, and treated me to Thai food. My sister started texting and calling to check in on me. H asked to grab wine, and it turns out she too wanted to see friends more than once a month. Then I have a photo of my sister's text to me, "Morning, I love you," and then me saying, "Good morning, I love you, thank you for texting me." While I was surprised and disappointed at Jay's response, I was surprised and grateful for those of others who I hadn't originally thought would care. I feel like I've gotten closer with a few of my friends in the past month or two that I've been honest with, and it's been quite beautiful. This is a quote from Gore. As you speak to someone about your needs, your boundaries, your ways of loving, there is a trembling because you are laying bare every quiet corner of your life. It is an invitation to meet what is raw and unpolished. Every word feels heavy and exposed, yet necessary, because in naming yourself aloud, you are both offering and testing the possibility of being truly known. I'm grateful, and in making my needs known, I've been able to focus my time on friendships that are more in line with how I want to live. I've stopped looking for deep emotional support from friends who don't show interest in breaking out of the catch-up loop. The price of friendship is inconvenience. If you go to the gym every single day and your friend is in crisis, yep, I think it's time to skip the weights and pick up the phone. Or show up in person. Gasp. Obviously, there are limits, but I'm seeing a trend of self-care language used as a form of avoidance. Of friends, the uncomfortable, of putting a struggling friend in front of yourself. Sometimes you need to show up for your friend even if it requires rejiggering your schedule. While it's scary to be rejected when admitting my needs, it's equally incredible when someone rises to meet me where I'm at. I'm still tender from the sharp switch up in my relationship with Jay, but I've also been overwhelmed with gratitude at those who have chosen to meet my vulnerability with kindness. Thank you to everyone who has made the time to check in on me and spend time with me these past few months. Thank you to Holland Thick Pen for editing. This is an essay I originally published in December of 2025. It was featured in what was then called the Open Pen and now is called People's Archive, which is a cool combination journal on Substack where one of my favorite writers, his name is Gore, picks the different people that can be in it. I highly recommend checking out both Gore's Substack and People's Archive. This was a really emotional piece for me to write, and it's weird to read it aloud 6 months after the fact. I just really wanted to be able to make this accessible as a video essay as well. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please make sure to check out my Substack, which is linked in the description of this video, and subscribe to this channel. I'm hoping to put out my essays continuously on Substack, which always has an audio recording of me reading them as well, and put the video essay format here on YouTube. I'm always interested in what you guys have to think and what you have to say, so please leave a comment of how this made you feel or if this reminded you of something that you've gone through. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Feral Woman out.